A San Antonio pit bull breeding couple used meat to train their dogs to be aggressive prior to the fatal mauling of an 81-year-old man. Christian Alexander Moreno was arrested and charged with criminal negligence, dangerous dog attack resulting in death and injury to an elderly, and remains in jail. His wife, Abilene Schneider, 31, has now also been slapped with the same charges. Ramon Najera, 81, had been trying to protect his wife, 74, from the couple's pit bulls after they broke free from a yard on February 26th and mauled him to death. His wife, along with two other men, were also injured in the attack. The dogs had attacked two people in the neighborhood on two separate occasions, and fresh evidence points to the criminal couple having trained the dogs to be vicious killers. Investigators said that the pit bulls made an easy escape from their yard from a hole in the fence. According to an arrest report, a witness video showed that the dogs were not wearing collars or harnesses, a requirement of Animal Control Services. Moreno had told investigators that he had complied with the guidelines when he did not. Police said they'd received tips that Moreno and Schneider had been breeding the dogs and training the dogs to be aggressive with meat. The affidavit goes on to state that Schneider also had recorded conversations with her husband regarding how dangerous the dogs had become. The three terrifying American Staffordshire Terriers were euthanized, with multiple reports of the dog's violent behavior emerging in the wake of the deadly attack. Following the incident and before her arrest, Schneider claimed her husband wasn't responsible for the attack and that they'd taken care when raising the dogs. Following the first couple of attacks, the dogs had been removed from their possession, but they were quickly brought back after the couple's children had begged to take them back. It's traumatizing to see my dogs that I have raised since they were puppies do that to somebody, she said. From the bottom of our hearts, we're sorry, but my husband is not responsible, she continued. The dogs that were responsible for the killing of the 81-year-old were King and Snow. Also, a third dog named Legend was at the scene but was not involved in the attack. Schneider said she was trying to raise money to have her husband released on bail. His bond has been set at $125,000. When the two arrived home on Friday afternoon, they saw their dogs were out of their harnesses and were told by first responders that their dogs had attacked four people and had killed one of the people. His wife described how the dogs could be a handful, that they had escaped before, and that the family wanted to hide them. The dogs had been involved in two attacks, one involving King and two involving Snow. Despite that, she said they had not been raised to be aggressive. After the attacks last month, the dogs were temporarily confiscated by Animal Control Services. The 31-year-old claimed that she nor her husband wanted the dogs back, but that their children wanted the dogs back. The grandchildren of Najera and his wife Jani shared a tribute to their grandfather, who died in the dog attack. And they have also created a GoFundMe page to help cover the funeral costs of their 81-year-old grandfather and also the medical bills for their 74-year-old grandmother. Ramon was a San Antonio native, a U.S. Air Force veteran, and an adventurous, outgoing, and loving family man, they wrote. He was recently put on dialysis, but was determined to enjoy life to the fullest. He was a strong man, and he was getting ready to start working as a security guard despite his age. He was getting ready to start back at his security job, which is the reason they were stopping at a seamstress in that neighborhood. My stepdad was having some work done on his uniform when they were viciously attacked by these dogs. The attack occurred along the 2800 block of Depla Street on the city's west side, where the Najeras and his wife were visiting friends. When they got out of their car, the couple were set upon by the two American Staffordshire Terriers who had escaped their yard. When the San Antonio Fire Department arrived on the scene around 1:45 p.m., the dogs still actively attacking the couple and attempted to intervene, the police said. An EMS captain was bitten in the leg during the attempted rescue. San Antonio Animal Care Services confirmed on Saturday that the dogs involved in the incident will both be put down. A third dog that was present but not involved was also euthanized. Firefighters arrived just after 1:45 p.m. on Friday in what was described as a horrific scene in which the man was being dragged by the animals as emergency services tried to intervene. They were forced to use their pickaxes to get the dogs to release their grip. Two other people, including Najaris' wife, sustained non-fatal injuries, with one bitten on the hand. As they rounded the corner, they could see a man being dragged by a dog. He was completely bloodied before they got out of the truck. This is not something that is normal for us. We don't normally have to defend patients from animals. The firefighters in this instance were very heroic, fighting off these pit bulls with pickaxes and pipes, trying to get to the patients. Two people were mauled with a confirmed fatality who was treated and given blood on the scene, together with a female in critical condition. Another individual was bitten on the hand and also taken to the hospital. It has been a horrific scene and horrific experience for everyone involved, including firefighters, which was essentially a rescue to save them. A San Antonio fire captain who arrived on the scene was also bitten in the leg during the attack. Hood said that the entire experience had likely emotionally scarred the firefighters. Nobody expects to go out and fight dogs in a situation like they did today. Both women who were attacked were taken to University Hospital for treatment. One was in critical condition, and the other's condition was unknown. The director of Animal Care Services in San Antonio says the dogs were American Staffordshire dogs, better known as pit bulls. ACS officers responded soon after and took all of the dogs involved and placed them in quarantine kennels where they will remain until further notice.